In studying the Mojave, we've seen this map. It's the geological map of California that Dave has on the wall, and you'll notice the vast array of colors in this area representing different types of rocks. And the Mojave Desert is a part of California that has all of the major rock types. And so on our trip, which is shown on this Google Earth map, you can see the different places we went and how it roughly lines up with the geological map that you see here. Now, we saw different features here. One of the first things we saw was these conglomerates, and what was interesting about these, they really stood out to us. We drove up and we saw these bulbous looking rock things, and we pulled over, and upon closer inspection you saw the depositional environment of a dry riverbed around this area right here. And getting up close to these rock formations, you saw that they were extremely friable and made up of small pebbles that really easily came apart. Also in the Mojave, there's areas of volcanism, which obviously lead to volcanic rocks. We were driving up to the Amboy crater, and suddenly the ground around us started turning black, and we're like, what the heck are these things? Here's the view from the road towards the Amboy crater, and this crater is actually the remains of an old volcano, and as you can see, it's very dark. We actually hiked straight to it, and on the ground were different igneous rocks. Particularly what stood out to me was a lot of basalt, and actually scoria was all along the ground. Next we saw the Kelso Dunes, and the Kelso Dunes are in the Mojave National Preserve, and essentially it's just large sand dunes sitting in the middle of the desert. Typically what you'd actually expect a desert to look like, but that wasn't the case with all of the Mojave. Here's the view from the ground. As you can see, the dunes are not all that tall in themselves, but by hiking to the top of them, we could see how it was deposited by the winds going through the area. You could actually see the sand floating off the top of the dunes, and it actually looked really cool. But essentially it's just sand piling up in different sheets, and you can run and jump on the top of these dunes, and it will essentially cause an avalanche of one of these sheets, and the sound of that scraping over another causes a barking sound, which these dunes are famous for. The next place we went, we drove up to the Tacoma Hot Springs, and these hot springs on the topographical map, they lie right around here, and as you can see, that's non-marine sediments right there. You can see in the Google Earth right here, all of this, and actually across here, this was a dry lake bed, and when you look at it from the ground, I mean, literally driving up to this thing, it looks like we were in the middle of this huge oven, and it was just a really hostile place to be. But you know, the lake actually does get filled during the rainy season. However, that's extremely limited. We also went to the Kingston Peak, for which the Kingston Peak Formation is named, and the Kingston Peak, actually, in the topographical map here, is right here in this area where it's granitic and pre-Nevadan, very, very old rock. We actually went crystal hunting there, and it was pretty cool place to be.